Ready with a notebook, ready with a pen, digging through the dark where the secrets been. Questions fly like bullets, truth cuts deep in the shadows where nightmares creep. Watch them break it down, unveil the lies, under lurid skies where the danger hides. The fire in their veins and the trust in their eyes. Randy and Wendy taking you for a ride. Clues left scattered like whispers in the wind. Every page they turn closer to the end. No stone unturned.
Here was Beanie Politan.
Through the chaos they pave the way. Watch them break it down, unveil the lies, under lurid skies where the danger hides. The fire in the eyes. Ready and Wendy taking you for a ride.
You can't talk about the jury in a current case. You can't do that. You're putting the jurors' lives in danger.
Clues left scattered like whispers in the wind. Every page they turn closer to the end. No stone unturned, no mystery safe. Through the chaos they pave the way. Watch them break it down, unveil the lies, under lurid skies where the danger hides. The fire in their veins and the trust in their eyes. Randy and Wendy taking you for a ride. Late nights burn bright under the moon. Answers buried deep, they'll find them soon.
Here is the buffer zone
Glory on a darkened stage.
right here.
Randy and Wendy's
And if you are wearing a Karen Reed shirt or hat, you get arrested.
And that's wrong. And you could cause a mistrial.
I love that part. Hey, Pammy. Hey, Anita Backrub. Me too. And Serendipity. How are y'all today? Let's see what we got. Oh, okay. Happy Wednesday. And October 1st. I can't believe how fast October's gotten here. I'm good. I went to the store. I've already got supper done. So y'all got me till 5 at least. Hey, the Scoop with Barb. How are you? Good to see you. We months ago booked a cruise, and it just seemed so far away, and now it's going to be the end of this month. So that's just crazy to me. Crazy. What's new? Not much. Just the same old life, you know. Blah blah. Wash the same dishes, wash the same clothes, cook the same meals. But you know, what's new with you? I'm just thanking God I woke up. So did everybody watch Time Goes By? It sure does. It sure does, especially the older you get. I mean, and I know that sounds so cliche, but it's so true. Did y'all watch Tyler Robinson in court? I mean, really, there's nothing really new. Summer did go by fast. It went by really fast. And I really didn't. Well, I started saying I didn't do anything fun this summer. I did. I went to New York, and then Boston was at the beginning of the summer. So we did, but you know, we knew that we had the cruise coming up, so we didn't take any vacations. We didn't do anything, you know, this summer, you know, because we saved and saved and saved, and you know. And look, if y'all want to go on a cruise, they make it really, really simple. Hey, Mayberry Days, good to see you. They make it pretty affordable. and to where you can make payments on it. I'm getting somebody's blowing my phone up, y'all. I'm gonna mute just a second. Sorry, y'all. Children, children, children. Doesn't matter how old they get, they're still gonna. You watched? Um, they what I got so excited because the judge said, and this will be public. We're not gonna hide anything. And I was like, Shazam! Shazam. So I don't know. I don't know how we're gonna do it. I'm the odd man out of cruises. Never interested me. Some of the destinations do. Look, I've always wanted to go on one. Jim never wanted. He's no, never, never, never. And one of his friends at work went on a cruise and came back telling him how great it was, and that sealed the deal. So thank goodness. I've always wanted to go. We didn't we didn't get along. It's a 5-day cruise, which that's just enough. Like he's a fairly new judge. I think it should be interesting. I think it should too. I think it's gonna be good. And look, y'all, I know that y'all are gonna be sick of me flip flopping back and forth, but I want us to listen to what Candace said yesterday because she's doubling down, and I'm sure she'll double down more today. But the thing is she wrong? Is she? I don't. She doesn't seem to be lying. I think she's being dangerous and reckless, but something is definitely up. Something's up. She called out turning point. Um, and I think that I thought it'd be very interesting for us to. Candace is wild. And I worry for her safety. Yes, Scoop. Yes. I'm watching it. I listened yesterday and I she's stretching it. I don't know. But here's the one thing with Candace. She usually isn't gonna like plant her flag. Because she's threatening to show video proof. But the thing is that what she's threatening to show proof of isn't that they had him unalived. It's that he was pulling from Israel or pulling some of his support and this, that. And um here's what I don't like about what she's doing. Because somebody said yesterday to me, I said, it seems like if she had stuff, she would just drop it. And they said, well, she wouldn't get views that way. And they were being sincere. And I'm like, well, this is supposed to not be about her friend, him being her best friend or one of her best friends. And now she's saying that they were reuniting on the stage and she can prove it. And which, I don't doubt that. I don't think Charlie let people tell him who to be friends with. That is something I abhor. Ugh. People judging who you like, who you stand up for, and what you do. I hate that. And I don't think he did that. I'm gonna have to turn my air off in here because I'm cold. Hold on. Okay. All right, got that. And I don't know if Wendy watched it or not. We really haven't talked yet. I texted her that I was going live, but she may not be awake. What does the reuniting have to do with the price of tea in China? Well, it doesn't have anything to do. Well, I think she's saying that because, and I reuniting probably isn't the right word. She's saying that because his pastor came out with that statement saying that he had pulled away from Candace because he didn't agree with her. Um, so I think that's why. I think because his pastor got involved, which he spoke at the funeral. Um, so I think that was like throwing down a gauntlet of who is I telling the truth and not. Uh, she's like, let prove it. And I think he should have stayed out of it. I know what he's doing, but I think he should stay out of it. And I do think that Erica Kirk, this is the time for you to, you know, I don't know. You don't have to make it. I don't think Erica would ever have to be public with this. I think she could talk to Candace. Candace would certainly tell it, but that's fine too. But you know, this is where somebody's. Nuh-uh, Candace wasn't at the funeral. And I saw today. Well, her parents weren't at the funeral. His parents weren't at the. Yes, they were. Yes, they were. She's getting judged a lot. Like I have a lady on my Facebook, and the reason she's on my Facebook is y'all don't care, but I'll tell you. Years ago, I was in a Big Brother group, and we were arguing about one of the players. And I mean, this has been a lot of years ago because I haven't watched Big Brother in a long time. That I've really got into it enough to be in the Facebook group, but we were disagreeing about something. And so I went to look at her profile. She sold Scentsy. I bought a warmer from her, and we became friends on Facebook. And so I put something on my Facebook about Candace being reckless. And this woman just came and she's like, and how do you think? Look at Erica. She's not even grieving, blah, blah, blah. And I said, I don't judge how people grieve. I'm fed up with that narrative. We don't know how we would handle it. It's like somebody in here said the other day, they lost their husband. They could have gave a speech the first month or week, could have handled things the second week, and by the third week, they could barely get out of bed. So, I mean, we don't know. They are rabid over this case, and I just want the truth. I want to know what Tyler is saying. Like, he's not saying anything in court. I haven't heard a plea. Was he going to plead guilty? Is he going to plead insanity, or is he going to plead not guilty? Which that's going to be wild if he pleads not. Hey, Brantley, so good to see you. That's going to be wild if he pleads not guilty. So let's see what all she said yesterday. So the name of her stream today is "A Woman Was Seen with Charlie Kirk's Shooter." Candace. The name of her stream yesterday was "Dead or Alive? Who Betrayed Charlie Kirk?" Dead or alive? Huh. He turned himself in and hasn't said a word. That's crazy. I agree. They're hiding his parents. She's offended by that. I'm not. And I believe they're hiding his roommate as well because he's missing, supposedly, allegedly. Hold on, I'm getting another phone call. Okay. Let me pull this up so I can read the chat. All right, here we go. When my grandson died, my daughter totally collapsed, and my son-in-law just kept busy until he couldn't. Everyone is different. Right. Everyone's different. We can't judge that at all.
Say that I feel like at the beginning of this investigation, I was very clear. I said there will be no fakeness and there will be no gayness in this investigation. And apparently there were some people who did not take me seriously or literally, because there are a lot.
I'll say this, say what you want about Candace Owens, but if something happens to me, I want a friend like her to fight for me. If that's what she's truly doing, if she's truly fighting for Charlie, I want somebody to have my back like that. The best strategy, missing or just staying out of the public eye, I wouldn't be saying. I think he is, hey, that lady in Canada. I think he's just staying out of the public eye. I don't know if missing is even, I think if they're gonna hide his parents, they're probably hiding him too. Hey, Teresa loves retro. Gayness, she's horrible. Yeah, I don't even know what that is supposed to mean.
Of little lies being told, right?
I think she just likes to throw in stuff to get people's feathers ruffled.
Charlie gets assassinated, and the very people who were threatening him,
Yeah, that's
reputationally and financially, are now trying to memorialize him as having died as a friend of Israel. Okay, challenge accepted. All lies will be revealed.
See, that's what I want to know. Were they threatening him or just saying you shouldn't do this? Because normally that's what it is. Were they threatening to pull their money back? Show it.
And we're going to help reveal those lies. Also, yesterday we asked for the public's help in identifying two individuals who Phil Lyman's nephew described as his close friends, who decided to retrace the path
you too,
of Charlie's
Teresa.
killer.
Thank you for coming in. It's so good to see you.
And what we have discovered thus far is absolutely stunning. This story couldn't get any crazier. By the way, I did speak to Phil Lyman, and I'll tell you what he told me and what he insisted that we clarify.
Hey, Steady.
Now, I would say
no,
that
I think I'm right when I say Phil Lyman was the guy, the investigator that was walking around looking at stuff after the shooting that night, which I don't see a big deal in. I don't know why it bothers her so much.
It's getting weird, but honestly, right from the jump, it's been weird. So welcome back to Candace. With letter from Charlie Kirk to Israel, just out of nowhere. He was just overcome with love for Israel. And he decided to write this love letter to the prime minister about how they could fight harder, how they commit themselves further to the Israeli cause. We're going to get to that. We're just going to.
Did y'all see the letter that he wrote to, oh gosh, how do you say his name? BB, I always get it mixed up with another name. I put two names together.
Slaughter that narrative that Charlie died pro-Israel. But first, I want to jump right.
Netanyahu. Yes. Netanyahu. I'm still saying it wrong. Netanyahu. Thank you. Hey, Honey Bun Express. Thank you for being here. Netanyahu. There you go.
Back into what we uncovered yesterday to keep you guys focused. I presented to you guys in short that
I'm sorry, Candace. I don't think that he was not pro-Israel. I think he just said what he said on the live stream or the interview with somebody. He said he didn't agree with everything they were doing.
The gubernatorial candidate, Phil Lyman, was a bit, in my opinion, too involved in the investigation of who assassinated Charlie Kirk. He was saying and doing a little too much, and his energy was weird, and the energy of Tiffany Barker was weird. And we were clear that's potentially just because, he's a politician or an aspiring politician. Maybe he wants to assert himself as a leader in Utah. This assassination has taken place. But I also felt like maybe he potentially knew a bit more than he was letting on. Now, the Lyman family in general was everywhere, all over this investigation. We introduced, and I said his name was Shane. I'd like to correct that record. His nephew, Shaner Broderick, who rather notoriously retraced the footpath of the killer with his two close friends. They were like, here it is. The Converse footprint is right here. They even created a map Okay.
I don't see anything weird about that at all. That is something I would do. So, do y'all think that's weird? I don't think that's weird. I don't think it's weird at all.
Shaner even created a map of where exactly the killer walked, and the media used his map. And of course, the Lyman's car was in the
Exactly. Thank you, Honey Bun Express. Empress. I thought it was Express. Empress, which love that name. The He was just giving tips. It wasn't a love letter. I didn't feel that way at all. It's very long. It's very hard to I have to blow it up because I'm old. But if you get a chance to read it, it's on Twitter.
driveway just 20 minutes before Phil Lyman
I agree,
reiterated
Lavina.
to Fox News. It was just 20 minutes before I pulled into the driveway at my aunt's house, and I parked my car, and then 20 minutes later.
I think this is where she's going to lose gas. I think this right here, because of what I'm saying is because of what he put out. He put out the letter. And you said he turned down the money. Were they going to pull the money or did he turn it down? I think she's so involved. I think she's hurt over her friend being killed. And
The killer
she's lost
was limping by. Now, I'll let you guys know that when our episode finished yesterday, I had a message or two from Phil Lyman, despite the fact that I had reached out to him hours before we began our show. And he was understandably upset. He, at first, was sort of focusing his energy toward Nick, the person that I told you
Tears. That's a great name, too.
Worked on his campaign and just wanted to help out in the investigation. Now, Phil would like me to clarify that Nick never worked on his campaign. And by the way, I looked back and that was actually my mistake, not Nick's. I thought that when Nick had first introduced Lyman to me over the phone,
Tammy.
He said, "Oh, like I am, I'm working on his campaign." And apparently that was not accurate. So I take full credit for that. That was completely, again, something that I came up with by accident. Now, the other things that he was interested in me clarifying were also not really substantive issues. And I want to say that Nick, having not worked on his campaign, actually makes it even more odd that he would stop by his house this past Saturday. Well, regarding why, by the way, he stopped by Nick's house at all on Saturday, he said that it was because he was helping Nick out early on in the investigation. Yes.
Yeah, it's really got me. It's got my, like I'm dreaming about it. But look, everybody around me is sick of my bullshit. So y'all just please hang in here with me. We're going to solve this murder. I'm telling you. She's making a lot of mistakes. If she waited, she would not have to have. I so agree with that. Can I just say, does anybody in here watch Foodie Beauty? Because I was at this store a while ago and she was all that was on. I have not been keeping up with her, but she was crying her eyes out. Still no ticket to the conspiracy train. I don't have a whole ticket. I have half a. I have. I don't know what I have. I don't know what I have. Hey, Johnny Cuddy. Charlie wanted Americans to support Israel, but he could see people making negative comments about Israel. They do make a lot. No, on Foodie Beauty. I wonder why she was crying. She's getting divorced. Well, is she really married? Come on. But they're like, is your heart broken? And she's like, no, I'm not hurt at all. I'm like, what? Hey, Suze Cooper.
That is true. I told you guys that. And Nick was particularly asking him to determine who owned a white vehicle.
It's good to question things, especially when the way. Yeah, I agree. I question everything. I said to Shamat earlier, I said, I don't understand how they could have arrested him and got all this confession stuff supposedly to his parents. And, she said they do that by threats, if that's the case. And yeah, remember Charlie questioning what happened on October 7th, possibly questioning things Israel didn't want questioned. Yeah. You and I used to be two birds in the tree, Randy. You and I used to be two birds in the tree. That's right over my head. I don't know. Two birds in the tree. Absolutely, Johnny Cody.
That was parked in the neighborhood, which was nearby where the shooter had walked. Nick lives nearby, and everyone locally had looked at this vehicle and said that it was remarkably suspicious. And Phil had come back to him and said, "I can help you to just figure out more about this vehicle that was parked." Nick had nothing but a picture of that, but that was over 2 weeks ago. So I have no idea why that would have anything to do with why he was stopping by Nick's place. Obviously, that car is long gone. It's been gone. And the fact that it appeared and then disappeared is one of the reasons why Nick wanted somebody to look into it. So I'm not entirely clear why he needed to stop at
you
Nick's
and a few
house
other
to
people,
speak
Lumpy
to him.
Space. It actually doesn't freak me out at all because I think it's a small world when we truly look at it. People say, "Why do you not give Randy my phone number?" Candace. I hope that happens.
Him and
good at breaking all this down. Watching Too Strong. They're good at break. I could not find the video that Stitching Girl was talking about the other day. I cannot find it. If you can give it to me on Twitter,
why that would be on his list of things to do. Now, I am told, according to a very strong source, that was what Phil Lyman was doing in town on Saturday was he was meeting with Tim Ballard. That's totally
they
random.
Probably know a lot more about Candace than I do. I don't know a whole lot about Candace. I've watched her on and off, but mostly I've just watched her like kind of debate people and stuff. A mom with I don't know why I'm dumbstruck. I don't know.
To hear that, Tim Ballard, if you are not familiar with him, is formerly of Operation Underground Railroad, which is a charity that is dedicated to helping to stop human sex trafficking. I even remember, by the way, when we were all speaking about that plane transponder that turned off, that the individuals that owned that plane were wearing an Operation Underground Railroad t-shirt. So I wasn't expecting that. I am going to reach out to Tim Ballard. I know him. I've actually interviewed him, and I used to donate to that charity because I was so moved by my interview with him when I was working for Prager University. But moving on from that, Phil also disputes something that was quite strange, that Shaner Broderick is his nephew. I said, okay, wait a minute. Actually, Shaner Broderick literally posted that on his Instagram. He said, "My uncle Phil Lyman." But Phil seems like he's trying to distance himself for some reason from Shaner. He said, actually, maybe Shaner's confused. We're just cousins. We're just cousins. Okay, well, Shaner must have been very confused because it was also posted on his LinkedIn as a connection that Phil Lyman was his uncle. It's probably part of the reason, politically speaking, that
a big deal whatsoever. They went and looked at the crime scene. That's it. That's all. That's it.
He was chosen for an internship with Senator Mike Lee of Utah. I feel like that was a little bit of political maneuvering. So I'm not clear why that he's suddenly saying that it's not his nephew. Anyway, it's not up to me. I'm not here to get into the middle of a family feud. But something interesting happened since our episode. Shaner completely wiped his LinkedIn page. Doesn't want us to know who he's connected to. He's also completely wiped his Facebook page entirely. And
yes, Candace, because you sent thousands of people to his Facebook page, to his LinkedIn, to his Instagram. Of course he wiped it. That's not odd.
Regarding his Instagram, he's privatized it, but he privatized it and then removed all of the photos of his investigation into who Charlie Kirk's killer was. Now, that doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand that. I can't make sense of why.
He's probably intimidated by you. You have a lot of pull. Think about that. Why does that not make sense? Why am I the only one that makes sense to? I assumed they were going to make it a memorial or something, Lacey.
You would just move to delete everything when I reached out to you, as opposed to speaking to me about where you were, why you shot this video, and maybe sending me that video in general. But again, that is now a dead end. Now, I asked Phil Lyman 3 times via text whether or not he could help us, more importantly, identify the 2 individuals that were in the photo with his nephew or cousin, if you will. And he was kind of pretending to be confused about what photo in particular I was referring to, despite the fact that I sent it multiple times in the text chain. And then finally he said that he had no idea who those two individuals were at all. I thought that's interesting. This is allegedly your nephew, cousin. You guys are all chilling on this block around the same time. He's with these two individuals. You've never heard of them. You've never seen them, nothing. Because I got to identify that guy in the blue hat. Many of you figured out, by the way, and wrote to the tips box exactly what we were interested about in that person with a blue hat. You noticed the same thing that we noticed. He kind of resembles, certainly more so than Tyler Robinson does, the blurred image of the individual that was coming up the stairs. I couldn't look away.
I disagree. He's wearing a hat and a t-shirt, and so that makes him resemble him. No. Knock that off. You're putting dangerous targets on
And I was going through the photos and I was going, I would just like to quickly identify that individual and check him off and just know where he was, because it looks to be about the same height. It's weird. Oddly, this is, when I say oddly, I mean this has never happened in the history of all of our investigations. No one emailed us to say that they knew either of those two individuals, neither the blonde that's with Shaner or the person that is wearing the blue hat that is with Shaner. I said, that's weird. Nobody in the whole wide Candace Owens universe of investigation. It was making me believe maybe those two individuals are like, I don't know, from overseas. Like maybe they're not even American. And it turns out, we were able to identify one of those individuals in the photo, and he is Austrian. So no wonder nobody recognized him. I mean, what? Austrian? What's this Austrian guy doing? How did we get here? Anyways, his name is Gurno Omer. And we were able to find that his face matched with photos from a blog post that was written in German that was basically entitled Anniversary Hike, 10 Years on Foot to the Sea. The blog is about a group of 30-year-olds who are recreating a hike that they took together when they were 20. Now, I don't even know if I'm saying his name right, Gernot. I guess it is a common name in Austria. And there are a few photos of him that were available. We were able to find his face also matched up in a YouTube video for a company called Bearing Point, where he is seen with a group of people and is introduced as one of their software development teams.
I'm going to be like Wendy and say, if only there was something in your head that gave you something to take pause before you spoke, Candace. Come on.
A member of one of their software development teams. So
y'all know what's going to happen. This guy's going to get harassed now.
Let's take a listen to that clip from YouTube.
This is the Bearing Point office in Graz. This is where Bearing Point's key technology competencies
goody. She's even going to show. Let me just show you exactly where he works.
Are concentrated. This is one of our software development teams. Some people are managers and some are not. It doesn't matter. It's all one team.
Very recently, he moved to Utah. According to his LinkedIn, which I hope doesn't get wiped, I'd love to get in touch with him. In May of 2024, he moved to Utah to become a software engineer for JP Morgan and Chase. And I guess the story goes that he became best friends with Shaner Broderick. I don't know. We'll find out. Now, what about the other guy, right? So yesterday, we were kind of poking fun at the narrative that Phil Lyman seemed to be trying to spin, suggesting that quote unquote gothic girls might have been suspicious, that they maybe could have been responsible or aware at least that the shooting was going to occur. That was a part of his story. He saw these gothic girls and they seemed unfazed in all of the chaos, And I thought that was an interesting way to describe someone as gothic. Gratefully, Phil Lyman did send us footage of him after the shots rang out. And I am saying shots plural for a reason, because we will show you that video. But first, I want to recap what specifically Phil said publicly about where he was when the shots rang out, because I vaguely remembered him painting a picture that he was outside. That certainly seems to be what he told both Alex Jones and News Nation, that he was outside when the shot rang out. Let's take a listen to what he said on Alex Jones.
Just yesterday, someone comes in and says, we've got video. He came off the roof. He came up here to the parking lot, got in the car with an individual, and they drove away. Well, that's not the story that came. So that he escaped another route. And there are people who are coordinating this thing. I do not believe that 30-06 that they showed recovered in the bushes was ever on the roof. I think it was in the bushes to start with. And now I'm not saying that Tyler.
Oh, goody. Another conspiracy.
Robinson wasn't on the roof. I'm not saying he didn't pull a trigger. I know I was in very, very close proximity. So another interesting thing, like I say, I left the front of the stage. I wanted to meet some of my friends and bring them down front. So I was clear at the east end and I heard this loud boom. I heard this loud bang. And I turned around and I'm looking like, what?
I think it's purposeful, Pammy B, because that keeps people coming back. You know, throw it to the wall, see what sticks. And I still think that she's dangerous.
What was that? And pretty soon some people started.
And what he's saying right now is dangerous. But why? Because you walk the path. You don't think that gun is the gun that shot him, the one that he said that he used?
Running. Everyone was trying to process. And I thought, this is a gunshot, and there's going to be more of them. I thought it could turn into a mass shooting. So I go to the people closest to me. Everyone's ducking down behind the concrete retaining walls, and some of them were still kind of oblivious, but there were two people that were standing there. Two girls, very goth, very black, and then I just walked, and I stepped up to the side of them, and I said, did that not happen right here? Did you hear that? Was that right here? And they said, yeah, it was just right over there. So they're confirming, yeah, the shooter or wherever that sound came from is right here. The thing that didn't really dawn on me is that they were not running. They were not frightened. In fact, as I stepped up, I heard one of the girls, and they were talking to each other, and they're looking at these kids, looking at the scene down below them of all these people fleeing for their lives. And she says, "Go F yourselves." And like I said, I was not processing that. I was trying to figure out what was going on. I thought this is a separate conversation. I don't know what it is. In hindsight, as I've watched that over and over, it's like these people were not afraid.
Okay, and on News Nation, I want you to listen carefully because he at first says that he was about to walk into the building and the shot rang out, but then he says he ran out of the building after the shot rang out. So let's take a listen to that.
I walked up top. I had to go meet some people. So I was down there when we started talking. I thought I'm going to go up top and meet some of the people. So I got clear up on top, and I was just coming around the corner, walking into one of the buildings, and I heard a loud bang that I thought was right behind me. And I turned around, looked at the girl that was there, and she was kind of looking stunned. Like, what was that? And I'm looking at her, and then see a little bit of commotion. I realized right then it's a gunshot. So I ran out. The people running into the building, I ran out to see who it was. I'm thinking there's a lot of kids out here. And,
Okay, be careful. Hey, Stadius. InfoWars. So now, he's just now mentioning the goth girls, just now mentioning that he doesn't think the gun. And there, I was rooting for you.
And then pretty soon, a few minutes later, then the police were running, saying, "Did anybody see? Did anybody see?" I think he was on the roof above me. I really is the only thing I could figure, because it's like it had to have been very, very close to where I'm standing. And in hindsight, I think it was probably above me on the roof.
Okay, so a couple of those statements are what I would describe as little lies. Well, they're just not true, because at 12:23, according to his metadata, because he sent it to me, Phil Lyman was inside of the building, and he must have then immediately, according to our timeline, hit record, and he didn't run. He calmly walked out of Sorensen building. I hope I'm saying that right, the Sorensen building, and he wasn't the only one that was walking calmly. And I'm not, by the way, none of these people are suspicious to me, walking calmly, because they're inside the building, not really sure what they heard, perhaps, and they're all kind of walking
I agree with that.
Calmly out. And I'm going to show you that footage. And to be clear, you're going to see two girls that are simply wearing black. By no stretch of imagination would I refer to these girls as gothic. Actually, I think one of them is actually a guy, but they're wearing black, not dark makeup. There's just black. And he asks them, what I can hear audibly is he asks them, what was that? So I don't know how certain he was. It could have been a shooting, but I'm going to let you watch it first, and then we're going to try to clean up the audio. Now, if you're listening to this on a podcast and you're not able to watch this, you might want to turn this down because it is visual. Take a look. So you can just sort of see everyone up top. A couple of people were actually out there are ducking.
I hope those aren't the two that he's talking about that are goth.
He was on the inside. They said this was at 12:23, so he was inside, walked out, and then he's going to start a conversation with two people that are just wearing black. And
we have caught him in a lie. But I 100% agree with that. It doesn't sit right. Pay me.
And then you see he continues, the video goes on for like 3 minutes, and he just sort of walks down, and he engages in a conversation with those two girls, and they answer him. There's nothing here that seems to me to be controversial. When he hears them say something about F you, it's before he has a conversation with him. It does happen. Take a listen. Trying to isolate this audio for you guys. Those are two girls talking about. Actually, I think one's a guy.
You see where that came from? It was right here, wasn't it?
It was like over here.
Yeah.
So he says, did you see where that came from? It seems like a normal conversation, kind of weird for me. And there's a reason why I'm saying that, to hone in on these two individuals and to say like gothic, and to pretend that they were doing something that looked abnormal given the...
Absolutely. Did he not make it sound like those two were, they were goth? They were the only two standing there that weren't afraid. There was several people standing there, and kind of like they were waiting on somebody to come get in their car and drive off.
The fact
He
that in the
did make
longer
it sound
video,
like that.
everyone up top is quite calm because I don't think they're really entirely sure what is happening. And some of them are ducking because maybe they saw it because they were outside. So I wanted to
Wow.
get to the bottom, as I said earlier, of who
Voila.
that second person was in the photo.
I'll tell you why. He wants the spotlight. She's right. He wants to get elected. Worshipping Satan, is he right?
With his nephew, cousin, whatever you want to call him. And we got just one hit. And it was, honestly, it was from Belfast, North Ireland.
The nerve of them to wear black shirts and be gothic.
And no less, somebody sent us an email and he said, look, I conducted an interview, an internet-wide search of the person's face, and I only got one hit using technology, and the hit was in Provo, Utah. And he wrote to me that it was quite a coincidence because not only is the person in Provo for this one hit for this face, but also he's featured on a website pertaining to bees. And he's like, didn't you just do a thing saying that you had this weird thing about bees and you thought there was something else going on? And my goodness, you guys, I almost jumped when I learned that website he was referring to, Buzzard and Bees, is a Gothic underground in Provo. Okay. So this is the website. It's a Gothic underground of all things in Provo, the website Buzzard and Bees. And they're speaking about a Gothic prom. That is where that person's face comes up, except he's wearing makeup to make him, well, look a little more Gothic. Take a look at this. I'm going to show you the side-by-side of this individual. And I am certain, can't say 100%, okay, because we need to find this person's name, but this is a match, okay? The ears, the chin, just everything about this individual is a match. But he is as of yet identified as a unidentified, as a Gothic person, and he is also as of yet unidentified as
I don't know. They do favor. I don't know.
The close friend of Shayna Broderick.
I don't see. I thought this was much more in depth than what I mean. I'm talking about things that, because the title of her stream was "Who Betrayed Charlie Kirk."
And not be found.
And that wasn't it. That wasn't it. It wasn't who betrayed. I think it was who. Well, maybe it was.
People are not familiar with this person, so I'm thinking maybe he also came from overseas. Now, quickly regarding our question pertaining to Mike Mitchell, right? I was saying that it was pretty odd and obvious that they were trying to protect this detective, Mike Mitchell. We also learned that he's a Boy Scout leader in the LDS church, but usually if you have a long tenure as a police officer, you're just featured in a lot of articles. And then we received some leads that I think have helped clarify exactly what sort of a detective he was and maybe why he was not featured in a lot of articles, because he was, as it appears to be, a undercover detective. By all accounts, he was an online detective. Apparently, if this is the correct Mike Mitchell, and given the timeline of when he becomes an undercover detective, I have a strong hunch that it is.
Remember this is the guy who was trying to keep his name out of it, that they were trying to protect.
The right individual, because he says, he was on the force for 25 years. This individual began his career in 1999. His job, Detective Mike Mitchell, was to create messages online to entrap pedophiles. Okay. By pretending that he was underage. You guys know, you've heard about these sorts of stings. You pretend that you're underage as an officer and see people.
I think those need to be so popular. So popular.
That try to hook up with you, and then you make an arrest. And so we can take a look at this article from November of 1999. It says, police surf internet to snag pedophiles. And it tells us Mike Mitchell sits at a desk, tapping on a computer keyboard, and becomes a boy. He's chatting with someone now. His words are full of typos and misspellings and childlike phrases. Mike Mitchell is not a boy. He is a police detective hunting for a pedophile. But the hunted doesn't know that. Mitchell, a detective with the Salt Lake County.
In other words, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. He's on the right side of right.
Sheriff's office has been investigating child sex crimes on the internet for about a year. I don't think people realize how big it is, he tells them. Okay, so that's interesting to me. Okay, and we can't then go, okay, let's make a jump here. Just because he's creating messages online, first and foremost, doesn't necessarily mean that he's the person that authored the fake bad messages. And I'm implying that, but I thought it was quite interesting because when we covered George Zinn, who was the decoy boy that day, who then we find out is into pedophilia, right? And he gets arrested because he has children being sexually abused on his phone. Absolutely despicable person. It really made us wonder. Again, I said this on a previous episode, whether or not he had been blackmailed in some capacity to play the decoy boy and to give the shooter time to get away.
That is odd. I will say, him standing up saying he did it, that was weird. I mean, that was crazy.
I just find that to be interesting. a lot of stuff happening right now, guys, and we are definitively getting closer to what took place on that day. And we have a lot of leads that are coming in.
I don't think that you are getting closer.
And I want to say that I want to refocus your attention and now open this up internationally because I have a hunch on who that goth kid is. Okay. Somebody attended this goth prom in Provo, Utah. Somebody overseas perhaps recognizes that person. Like I said, I would venture a guess that he is not from Utah because I've never seen no hits come in. Somebody saying I went to high school with him. And yeah, that's what I want you to focus your attention on. Tips at CandaceOwens.com. Again, reminding you guys, please do not send us.
Doesn't matter.
Because we're such a small team, please do not send us TikTok videos and saying you should watch this or, look at this theory. Reserve that to simply tagging our accounts when you are on those specific apps. And we will pick up from there. We got to get into the Charlie Kirk legacy. I am pretty fired up about that. And I'm pretty disgusted at a lot of stuff that I'm learning. And
this is what I'm interested in.
before we do that, I first want to throw it to Riverbend Ranch because I've been speaking a lot about
Truthfully,
Riverbend
we
Ranch.
could have skipped all this other stuff.
They have fantastic steaks, really the best that you will have. Black Angus beef that is at 35 years, focused on flavor and special genetics to over 260 Western U.S. ranches. Those partnership ranches receive a substantial premium from Riverbend Ranch. Return to Riverbend
Let me tell
Ranch
you
to spend
something.
for Cowboys.
I just found
and the
out last night that there is a thing called Steak Talk where you eat steak on TikTok and get paid for it. That seems like something I could really get down with. Hey, Monchichi.
Hundreds of American families who work on those ranches. It's really from the ranch to your home. This is not your average Black Angus beef. This is more flavorful. Use so visit Riverbend Ranch. Mom of 4 young kids. Life is constantly on the move. There are school drop-offs, work, travel, and propolis.
Hold on, let me get through her.
Packed with antioxidants. There's plus keep you feeling your best. I use propolis throat spray, especially during travel. Fake sugars for the kids. Today, Beekeepers Naturals is offering this, or you can enter code Candace at checkout, and you'll get 20% Walgreens. Again, that's a B. So let's get into this. I mean, the attacks have not stopped. The attacks that are coming at me are good, though, because I am just feeling more and more energized by them. I understand exactly what is going on. The people fighting for Charlie Kirk's legacy. I got to say this.
You know what, Ash? You're not wrong. Hey, Sweet Wait, good to see you.
You know what? I am starting to think, and let me know if you think this is crazy, but I'm starting to think that the assassination of Charlie Kirk was something akin to a regicide, right? The assassination of a king to install a new ruler who the king would have never approved of, right? Maybe people around him counseling the king.
Well, then that would mean that the people around him killed him and not Tyler Robinson. And that's what you're alluding to. And I hope you have strong proof of that.
Well, who perhaps betrayed him, because there are just too many things that I am finding out
Ash.
that are not adding up to me. Okay. There are also, I do want to say this, too many first times leading up to this event. Okay. One person who emailed me said, hey, I've been supplying bulletproof vests to Charlie for all of these campus tours. And suddenly last spring, the last campus tour, they canceled my contract with them. They did not want to renew. When I asked them why, they told me that Charlie wanted to go a different direction by getting an army vest instead, like a metal army vest, I believe is what he says.
I don't think that's weird
and
at all.
he said this made no sense to me. I didn't understand it. Okay. So Charlie decided to use a new company, even though I don't think he was
numbers
actually
to
wearing
go.
a bullet vest on that day. So what happened there? I'm not sure.
Simmer down. Okay.
Something else that is really bothering me, just because I have done these campus tours, is the question of why Charlie was set to do 2 events in Utah a mere 20 days apart. Okay. He was supposed to do UVU, and then today was scheduled to do, just 20 days later, USU. Now, those 2 campuses are just under 2 hours apart.
But that's 2 hours apart and it's 2 different campuses. There's your answer. That's your answer right there.
For driving, why on earth would he schedule these events apart? It's not how Turning Point USA normally decides on their events. If you're going to do 2 stops in one state, they make it happen back to back because it doesn't make sense from a fuel perspective, from a traveling perspective, for you to go in and out of one state. Plus, they only have a limited number of events, right? So they want to make sure they can go all over the United States and see as many students as possible during every tour. This is how it works. I know how it works because I came from Turning Point USA, okay? I have toured with them every year with the exception of this year since I started working for Charlie. So that just struck me as very odd, okay? We've also received, or maybe I should say, maybe not odd, just something new, maybe. We've also received a lot of tips that the hospital that Charlie was taken to is not the closest hospital.
Oh, no.
And it also would not have been the number 1 choice hospital for someone that was suffering from that sort of a wound. Like it was a trauma-free center.
Okay. I listened to this, and you know what? They're not from there, Candace, and they probably pulled up the closest hospital or said directions to the hospital on their GPS. Come on. I think this right here is too far of a reach, and I don't like this at all.
he was taken to a smaller regional hospital that was a little farther away and was also less equipped for the trauma that he suffered, that he was taken to Timpanogos Regional Hospital.
He bled out before he got there, Candace. I know you probably don't want to accept that, but it's true.
And also something new is that hospital had just announced that they had a brand new CEO and head surgeon named Andrew Zenger. A lot of new stuff happening. And to be clear, typically the states dictate the protocol, and you're required to, after you have a certain number of attendees at an event, you are required to have an ambulance on standby. And I don't know Utah state law, but I also found that weird, that there wouldn't have been an ambulance on standby.
I do agree with that. I thought it was weird they didn't have an ambulance on standby. Right, Pammy B. Wouldn't have made a difference.
Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but seemed atypical to me. Now, in terms of other things that were new, they announced on that same day that Andrew Zenger was announced as a new CEO. That was also the day that they announced Charlie's tour. They announced 5 dates, and 2 of them were in Utah, dispersed throughout the month. And it is also interesting to know that the Utah FBI also got a new set of employees. The state FBI department, Kash Patel, went ahead and fired not only the chief of the Utah borough, but also some other people. You can see this in the Daily Mail article. They recount this after Charlie's death. Kash Patel questions grow as it's revealed he gutted the Utah FBI leadership before Charlie Kirk's assassination. That is true. He fired the chief, among other people, and replaced her with Robert Bowles in August. I think Robert Bowles, actually, it was his first week when Charlie got shot. And he's somebody who has been in DC for decades. So it seems to me to be an unusual placement to then want to re-up your entire life, assuming you have a wife and kids, and move to Utah. But whatever. Again, everything just feels a little too brand new to me. Then I speak to the individual who I told you guys that I recognized, that had taken down the cameras minute 4 after Charlie was shot, the back camera of all the ones when you take the front camera. I don't know. Again, I'm not here to read into how people might act in an emergency event, but I thought it was weird that he was there in general, actually, that he was behind Charlie the entire time. I've never seen that. He's never been behind me at an event. He's never been lingering around me at an event. And I asked about that. I asked about just his presence behind Charlie, and plus the mysterious phone call that he was seen making in like minute 3 after Charlie was assassinated. And he told me explicitly that they were trying something new that day. Like it was something new. Charlie's super ambitious. And on the AV thing, they were trying something new and they wanted to be able to feed it back.
Sometimes coincidences are just that. That's it.
Instantly to Arizona. None of it makes sense to me because these events are typically live streamed. But again, something new. Okay. So let's stick with that theme. Do you want to know something else that was brand new leading up to this event? Charlie's perspective on Israel. Okay. So let me say this so you can hear it. Charlie Kirk's perspective on Israel was not starting to shift. It had shifted entirely. Okay. There are no ifs and there are no ands and there are no buts about it. Israel knew that. Turning Point USA knew that because Charlie was explicit. So my question is, why isn't Turning Point USA making any statements and shutting down this repeat attempt by Israel to lie and to pretend that towards the end, Charlie was just authoring love letters to Israel, giving them a perspective of here's how we can win.
I think that's what you want to believe.
Here's what you guys need to do. You need to work with this.
I think that's just what she wants to believe. I don't believe that. I don't.
Whatever it is. Yeah, the same people that are calling me anti-Semitic, you need to work with those people harder. And he was just putting it on paper. Was it an email? What was that they were sharing on the New York Post, the Israeli Post, right? What were they sharing there? He wrote of his deep love for Israel. He had nothing else to do.
He spoke of his deep love for Israel. Come on. We all heard that.
Okay. Word of his deep love for Israel to a letter to Netanyahu. Netanyahu said they were close, but in the letter, Charlie puts his number, which apparently Netanyahu didn't have his number. And we're supposed to believe, did he send that as an email, by the way? Can somebody clarify, was that an email they were sharing, or did he send it in the mail to him? Could somebody share that, please? I'm assuming it was an email.
It was an email.
Can someone share the timestamp on that? Just kind of like authenticate that email, because I'm very aware of what's going on. Okay. And I don't know how the executives over at Turning Point USA sleep at night. Okay. I don't know how you can present yourselves as a Christian organization.
This is where it gets hairy. Because Erica is now the CEO.
And not be dedicating yourself to the truth. No matter what the cost is, you tell the truth. That's it. Okay. You don't hide it. You don't try to obfuscate it. You don't try to say, well, wait until the memorial event before we start looking into who murdered him. You tell the truth and you tell it immediately. And I don't think they're capable of doing that. I have an idea as to why that is. I think the same people that were pressuring Charlie are pressuring them. In fact, I know that for a fact. So they might need my help. Okay. I'm going to state this, and I'm going to challenge Turning Point USA executives to issue a very clean statement saying that I am lying if this is not true. About 48 hours before Charlie Kirk died, Charlie informed people at Turning Point, as well as Jewish donors and a rabbi, that he had no choice but to abandon the pro-Israel cause outright. Okay, Charlie was done. He said it explicitly that he refused to be bullied anymore by the Jewish donors. Can you guys answer? Did he express that? Did he also express that he wanted to bring me, Candace Owens, back because he was standing up for himself? And then did he, just 48 hours later, conveniently catch a bullet to the throat before our onstage reunion could happen? It's a yes or a no. Okay, let's stop this ditching. Let's stop the dodging. Let's explicitly, I want to hear from Turning Point USA that I'm lying about that. I want you to say, no, it was just, he was feeling a little bit of pressure. No, I want you to literally answer what I have just said. It either happened or it didn't. I'm either making it all up or it happened exactly as I'm saying. And while we're at it, may I ask, what is the name of the Jewish donor who sponsored the Hamptons weekend? Okay. And to Pastor Rob McCoy, were there any LLCs that you or your son were being paid through that sat outside of Turning Point? I'm asking that question genuinely. Yeah, I'm putting the fire here right at the feet.
Now, look, y'all, she seems to know the answer to that question. So this is where it's gonna get interesting.
Of Turning Point, because I am disgusted.
Not that this really has anything to do with, because she's trying to make it sound like they had him killed. So I don't understand what this has to do, other than it's gonna be
genuinely
she's calling him out.
I am looking around and wondering whether Charlie's entire life was the Truman Show. None of you guys are behaving in the way that you should be behaving, okay? There's no way you are letting these lies fly unless, as I am hearing, unless it is true that there was a big payday that was on the line. And if Charlie radically stated that he was done with Israel, if Charlie said he had no choice but to abandon the pro-Israel cause because of, and I quote, Jewish donors, the behavior of Jewish donors, if he said that, yes or no, well then, I don't know, maybe some people didn't want to take that risk that he was going to become Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson at Turning Point USA with all of those presences.
I haven't seen Tucker speak out. I'm
so much presence across college campuses.
I mean, he spoke out a little bit, but not a lot.
You see, I'm just one person, so it's easy to just try to cancel my life and lie on me every second of every day. But Turning Point USA, I think, got a little bit bigger than Charlie, and I'm no longer going to allow this lie in this narrative. So answer the questions, yes or no. And I'm going to, again, challenge you to lie. And if you do lie, I'm going to expose the lies. And I'm going to start dropping videos, actually. So that's where I'm at. Enough of the games. Enough with trying to allow Israel to wrangle a narrative that you know is not true. Charlie did not die pro-Israel. He did not die for Israel. He did not martyr himself as a friend of Israel. In fact, the friends of Israel were pressuring him really badly.
He said that there were people pressuring him to drop his friends and get new friends or stop hanging around with people. Yeah, he said that. So I don't know.
And he was done, and he finally stood up for himself. And I'm
The
proud of that.
video
And I
was
will say this, you know what? Somewhere Charlie is watching, okay? And I hope he knows that we are reunited, okay? We're on stage right now, and the Jewish donors are very angry about it, extremely angry about it. But it feels good to know that in the end, truth is going to win. So accept my challenge or don't. Before I get to some of your comments, I'm going to tell you about a couple of more of our sponsors, Nimi Skincare being one of them. There is a reason that we all love the fall. Of course, it's the air, changing leaves. It's a season of transition, but that transition can also be tough on our skin. The end of summer sun, the new autumn wind can leave your skin looking tired, dry, and very dull. If you are looking in the mirror and you are feeling like your skin has lost its radiance with the season, then I should tell you about my absolute go-to, which is Nimi. You guys know I love Nimi. Nimi is the reason that my skin stays clear, firm, and glowing no matter what the weather brings. Their 3-step anti-aging routine is the perfect defense for.
She does have pretty skin, so. Lacey, yes, she does. Right, 12 a.m. tears. That's all we could do is peep around. Which the comments, I don't know. She just reads her super chats.
Hope I've made myself clear. I'm done dancing. I am done dancing with all of these frauds. It's just unbelievable. It really is unbelievable.
I don't know that she's ever danced with him. Hey, Lori D. This Turning Point. Okay, let's say. Was turning away from some of Trump's beliefs. Trump wasn't happy with him. The way Trump groped Erica at that weird-ass memorial. Go freaking Trump rally. But see, I feel differently about the way. I didn't think that he groped her. I think that, because I said this afterwards, he's so standoffish and cold, and he kind of patted her. Because if you just rewatch it from a different perspective, she was kind of holding it together. And when you're trying to hold it together and someone kind of hugs you, you lose it. She seemed to lose it. Right, Stadius. I thought it was put on. She seems to lose it and kind of leans into him like for a fatherly hug, and he loses. He didn't seem to know what to do because he doesn't have that ability to give a fatherly hug or to even to empathize with someone. I don't think he gets it. I will say I did not like his. I didn't watch all of it of his speech at Charlie's memorial, and I think that's the only one that I didn't watch. She needed a dad. Yes, she needed a dad hug, and he didn't know how to give one. I didn't feel like he was groping her or anything like that. I felt like he should have left her alone. She didn't know she was going to be called back out, and she kind of fell apart there for a second, and he didn't know what to do. So just kind of watch it back and tell me if you disagree with me. That's fine too, you know. But that's just how I took
Do me
it.
a favor. Don't ever let anybody try to speak out who just tortured me my whole life and then pretend to say something nice. Please don't do that. Just call them out on being hideous individuals. You know, when you end up in a world where like a couple of days before Charlie Kirk dies, someone like Laura Loomer is calling him anti-Semite, and she's funded by one of Charlie's donors, Bob Shillman, who then does a 180 and is now pretending that she is morally fighting me to stop researching into Charlie's murder. You know exactly what kind of world you live in. Politics sickens me.
See, I did see tears in her eyes, Stadius. I did. I think because you could see her really trying to not let them fall, and as we do when we get our makeup done or do our makeup, I never have had mine done, but try not to let them streak down. But I did see tears. But Lacey, I agree. I agree that there has been some awkward moments, but I mean, you're allowed to feel how you feel. It's I did, you know, I do. The only thing that I'll say that I think, which really, I walk in anytime I want. They're half dressed. I'm even naked. um, yeah, I haven't heard that quote, but um, I'll see if I can find it. Charlie's wife was a pageant winner. Yeah, I knew that. I did know that. She's gorgeous. Um, the one thing that irritates me is when someone whispers. They say a sentence and then they whisper it. Even though one of my favorite shows is The Middle, and that little boy does that. I love that. Love that so much. Brick. But when she says that young man, you know, to me that feels a little like acting, but that just may be her way. I've not seen her speak enough to know if that's how she speaks or just things she said that day. Yeah, I saw that. I didn't see the video. I saw an article where she was in it. I didn't watch the video. That's what's my timeline on Facebook is full of things that she's done and conspiracies and this and that. And you know, I just like I don't think that she ever met Trump before this time. I can grab a woman and they don't say a thing. Oh, well, I did hear that. I did actually hear that. Um, Funny, he still got elected that year too. Remember that? That's genetics. No screen. I agree with that. It's still, she does have beautiful skin. I woke up with a new you know, it's crazy. You start going through the pause and your face breaks out, and I'm just like, yay! Thought I was done with that. No, ma'am. Yet she met him through the what? Yes. Okay. Yeah. Oh, not yet. Yes. Okay. Okay. I wondered what that word was. I don't know that she met him. I just think that he owned it and showed up when they told him to. That's my opinion. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know anything about Trump. I don't know what he does in his free time except when he plays golf and we know about it. And I don't watch a lot of it. But just you know, he owned it. She entered, she won, and then she didn't win Miss America. So are y'all giving his wife shit? Shame on y'all. No, I'm not giving her shit. I think she's in a lot of pain, and that's just the way it is. He did say he would walk through the changing rooms. Okay. I believe you. I just can't judge her grief off a few moments we've seen. I agree. Sarah Penn, I 100% agree with that. There's a pic of them together, but there's also, look, there is a pic of me with people that I met for 5 minutes. That just doesn't mean that they know them. A lot of ties with Donald Trump. Angels were. I've heard that because, you know, the conspiracy theories, but I don't know if I believe it. No, I know. I'm just reading comments. I don't think that Trump would have wanted him to be dead. I don't see a reason for that. Yes, Charlie had a strong voice, but I do not believe he was turning his back on Israel. I think he just didn't like some of the stuff that's going on. And Stadia's amen. I mean, we have seen speeches that she's given that she didn't even give. And that's crazy to me how AI is now. What the hell can we believe today? I don't know anymore, Lacey. That's why we're trying to watch it as it unfolds, because I don't know anymore. I don't know who to believe. I don't know. I hate that we live in a world where we all can't just be at one time we can't all just be America and come together. But that's what see. I think they were in love too. I just said, you know, the one thing that seemed a little performative was the whispering, and that made, and like I said, I have not watched. I don't know her. That may just be how she acts. You know, who trust my 6 chihuahuas. Conversation is the only way. You know, that's what I have to believe what Charlie said, and only way to keep peace is through conversation, and not get mad because someone disagrees. Because I'm certainly not mad that someone disagrees with me. I don't care. She was 5 years older than him till the other day. I didn't know that either because she looks so young. Golly, can you imagine just being that beautiful, just being born that beautiful? And maybe, oh, you're fine, Lori D. And maybe you are. I don't know if you are. I'm not. Never have been. She's beautiful. And I think she's a great example, you know, unless something comes out, which I don't think it will, that she did something. I just don't. Points to the inner circle. I say I'm going to disagree with that, George Glass, my ass. I love your name, but that's okay. Me too. I love watching their videos together too. The one with his little girl buying that doll, I've watched it, I don't even know, probably 30 times, and it just seems so. She had she had him wrapped around her pinky, and well, you know, well, thank you, 12 a.m. Tears. I appreciate that. I'm no Erica Kirk, that's for sure. But we are what God makes us, and he sure did give, you know, favored her. Lacey. She handles stress or trauma, brazen talks herself through it. That could definitely be Ash. Definitely. You know, it's just something I noticed that ticked my eye, and I was like, but I'm not judging her because I truly do not I can't ever judge anyone's grief because my nanny wasn't, hey, figure skating coach, my nanny wasn't a public crier. My whole life, I heard her cry one time. That was the death of a loved one, and she cried in her room, on her bed, and would not let anyone see her. She didn't cry when she lost her husband, not in front of people. I'm sure she cried in private. I don't think that Nanny ever knew that I heard her crying that night that I heard her crying. I didn't bring it up. Some people just handle things differently. Um, my nanny lost a child, and I don't know, I was not born yet when he got killed, and I was only one when she lost two kids when my mom died. So I don't know how she handled that, but I know there would be times when she would be sitting out on the porch swing, and back then her doctor told her when she got sad and got to thinking about stuff I know this is terrible advice. He told her to smoke a cigarette. My nanny was not a smoker, but if we saw Nanny sitting out on the porch swing smoking a cigarette, we knew to leave her alone and let her have her time because she didn't smoke. I've taken that job. Oh, so that was, I because, and I handle grief weird too. Lumpy, I get it. Uh, I'll crack a joke, like a very inappropriate joke when I'm uncomfortable. And if y'all heard some of the crap I say, I would be, I hate to say canceled because I'm not even cool enough to be canceled, but yeah, I do. I crack jokes in uncomfortable situations. I say things that people would like, I said something to Wendy the other day and she said, never say that in public. And I wouldn't, but I might. I hope not. I think she's on autopilot. I think you nailed it right there. And I think that she I've heard you cry. You've heard me cry. I'm part of it. I've heard you cry. You're killing me. You're killing me. It's rare that my Prozac lets a cry through. I've never been to a funeral service that I didn't giggle in the middle of. Look, that's happened to me. And let me tell you, just almost I've been to a lot of funerals in my life, and almost all of them, Jim has ended up being a pallbearer. It's crazy. He gets asked all the time to be a pallbearer. Oh, see, I did, Lacey, and I think that's why I take it so personal, like this whole death thing. Like, my friend said to me, she heard a quote, and she said, from hearing that quote, I don't think I would like him. Okay, love you, Warrior Grandma. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. Cool, 2 out of 2. And so I found the quote. Ah, really? See, ain't that crazy? So you never can sit together, even if it's someone you need your husband beside you. They have to sit up front. It's exactly, Lacey. And so I looked and I looked and I looked and I found the exact quote that she said. Oh my gosh. I can't believe you're in here, and I'm gonna tell you why. I was thinking of you today. That's crazy. I was just today I was thinking of you. That is wild. I stayed with her for a week because she couldn't stand to be home alone during the day. She was yes. Bye, Warrior Grandma. Hope everything goes okay with your doctor's appointment. See, okay, so I was talking about crying. Um, it's hard for any tears to break through my Prozac. So, I don't love to admit that, but it's the truth. It's hard to cry because I'm on an antidepressant and it just stops you from crying, I guess. But when I feel like I need a good cry and it don't come out, it bottles up and it's terrible. So the other day this lady that I was sitting and talking to, we've had a few conversations. Hey, Karen. Several conversations. Okay, she just does my nails, so we always have a conversation. The last time I was there, her and her husband, time before I was there, okay, 3 appointments ago. Her and her husband were split up because he cheated. Then after that, my next appointment, and I don't go every 2 weeks because I don't have the money to. I go like every 3 weeks, and or I don't want to spend the money, whatever it is. But so by that time they had gotten back together. Everything was going to work out. And I was happy for her because whatever, if you decide, if your husband cheats on you and you decide to take him back, that's up to you, and I'm going to support your decision. Not my, it's not really my business, but we also, know one another outside of the nail salon. Anyway, stuff's been here. Do you, Alan? Oh my goodness. See? So let me tell you what happened. I had all this pent up stuff. And I'm getting my nails done. She said, we are split up for good. I'm getting a divorce. He cheated again. And in the middle of getting my nails done, I busted out crying, just boo-hooing. So now I am 99% sure she thinks I'm nuts because I had needed to cry. And I think that was just like the thing that tipped me over the edge, like a marriage ending, someone else's marriage ending. And I don't know. It threw me over, and I just started crying while she was doing my nails, just booing. So, so I just that's my crying story. That's it. So, I want, that's why can't judge if somebody's crying out a bunch of tears or if they're not. It happens, Pammy. I mean, but she's probably thinking, cuckoo, why does she care so much? But now I'm all invested in her marriage because that's, it takes 2 hours to do your nails. So that's 2 total hours that she's talking about herself and I'm listening. So, because I don't talk about myself. I mean, there's nothing to tell. What am I going to tell her? I don't think she cares anyway. Maybe she does. Obviously, I care a lot about her. Well, she told she's like, do you want to come over sometime and sit on the porch? I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. So we may become close friends. But yeah. Make up something. But yeah, I mean, I tried it. I don't know. It's hard for me to tell stuff. I don't know why, but it just is. It's like I treat everybody like they're gonna give an interview on YouTube. Nail tech's therapist. I think I have. Milo guy that I can't spell. His name comes back because he was ruthless. I thought Charlie was bad. That guy 10 times worse, and he don't give a shit. I don't know who you're talking about. You thought Charlie was bad? The nerve, Ash. This thing called YouTube that may sure thing. She knows a little bit because like I'll have to get, if I'm going like on a trip, I'll have to get my nails done because I don't want them all grown and funky while I'm gone because that happened to me in Florida, and I had to go to a nail salon and I had no idea what they were doing. It turned out okay though. It turned out all right. So Charles, who's Charles? Okay, all right. I know you can't say anything about Charlie Kirk. Just don't do it. Don't do it. Milo, great name. I don't know who that is. Was thinking Ben Shapiro. I don't like him that much. I knew what you meant. And he's the one that said, I'm going to pick up that bloody mic and carry it on, which I think that was the push that Erica needed to say, no, you're not. And I think that's why she's now the CEO of Turning Point. That's what I think. But that's just my thoughts. I mean, it's not like I'm going to be invited to their parties or anything like that. No, I thought Charlie was bad. Oh, Milo was ruthless. He said he was coming out of retirement. I'm going to have to look this guy up. I see what you're saying. Yiannopoulos? Shapiro's saying that is like 50% of the basis of the Israel conspiracy. Alan, ding, 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 ding. I think so too. I think that he was talking out of his ass, and I think that's what got all this stirred up. But whoever tries to step in Charlie's seat or sit in his seat or hold his microphone has to speak the word, and Shapiro doesn't do that. You know, I'm not even sorry for saying that. It's just the truth. I always felt like Charlie tried to make people feel good about themselves. I just, yeah, he wanted to change your mind, but if he didn't change your mind, he was okay with that too. Accepted you for how you were. Milo Yiannopoulos? Can we have another somebody that spells that out like they did for Yahoo? Yiannopoulos. Yiannopoulos. Status, what did you never forget? Because I missed your other. Let me find it. Oh, I never got that. I can't read anymore. I can't read. You never got what? I'm sure I said something that I forgot that I said 5 seconds ago, but I'm blaming that on the pause until I can't anymore. Yiannopoulos. Yiannopoulos. Okay. Thank you. I'm just now waiting on Stadius to type out what he didn't get. Sorry, Stadius. Everybody watch for Stadius to put the acceptance. Really? Oh, I think that that's part of what we're supposed to do. People have a very hard time with accepting things they don't understand. I don't understand most stuff, but I promise that you are allowed. If you don't want to believe in God, you don't have to believe in God. I 100% believe in God. Oh, be careful, Ash. But if you don't, I might try to change your mind for a minute, but then I'm gonna let you go on about it. It's okay. It's whatever. Uh, but what I don't do is I don't try to change people's mind about the way they vote. I won't try to change. Like the other day, I ordered a dress, and look, it's not for everybody, but I love it. And when I showed my friend the dress, she laughed and she's like, "Gross! I can't believe you're going to wear that. Don't wear that public." And I'm like, "Yeah, shut up." And it's one of those dresses. It's made out of like an old T-shirt, and they just sew like different fabric on the bottom. I believe in God, but I don't follow any religion. There you go. There you go. I even have these little, and the reason I ordered these little Jesuses, and I'm going to put them out for people to find. Here's why I got them. I was pumping gas, and I found one of those, and it made me feel so good. I never find anything. I never win anything, so it made me feel good. So I got this little Jesus figurine. It's really tiny. I think it's like resin, maybe rubber. So I set it in the van. And this was the first time that I really drove the van after my wreck, after I got the van and everything after the wreck. So I was looking at a website one day, and they popped up, and so I ordered, I think, 20 pack, and so I'm gonna be setting those out places just for somebody, so somebody can feel the way I felt when I found one. You have 2 of them, Lacey. Ain't that cute? It says Jesus loves you. They're itty bitty, and I love them. I'm just tickled to death. I'm just tickled that I was able to find. And I'll tell you where I bought them. I bought them on Shein. Nothing. They were pretty cheap, so you could spend a little bit of money and make somebody feel the way I felt that day when I found it, because I really needed it. You know, having the wreck, and it just, first I was in pain and I had to keep pushing and going, even though I was like bruised, and um then it was a hassle, renting a car and then having to find rides to go rent the car. And it was everything was just a hassle when I loved the van that I wrecked. So it just sucked. But it's over. Yeah, the faces look a little wonky. Yes, they do. Oh, I agree with that, Stadius. I think a lot of time people care more about what people think of them instead of doing the right thing. And people don't do the right thing when no one's watching. And I know that's a cliche, but it's the truth. Like, I don't know who said that little Jesus there, but I hope I find out someday, because I want to thank them, because it made my day better. And I hope I do that for somebody when they find my little Jesus that I'm going to put right back in that same spot. But I'm going to make sure it's a different color. So if that person sees it, they'll know it's not the same one. But I'm sure they've been there by now. So if you're in Tennessee and you find a little bitty Jesus, it could have been me that put it there. And I have to order some more ducks, because apparently when you go on a cruise, I got one little pack of ducks, and but you hide ducks and people find them, and you find ducks and all that too, which is crazy to me. I don't know why. Small area to paint. Someone had a Red Bull. That was a great idea. It's just a great idea. Yeah, not bought. No, not bought. He's like, nobody. I'm just gonna just do my thing. And I never hardly fool with it. I did change. My best friend has 4 paws. Um, and I changed Winter Circle. I finally changed it from Winter Circle to Bad Friends. So that's what I did. I hope y'all hit the thumbs up. If you didn't, please hit them. It does help, actually. All right, y'all. I'm gonna go for today and get ready to eat my soup I made. I made chicken rotel cheesy soup. I'm pretty excited about it. And Jim's going to put chips in his. I'm not. Much love. And I'm sure we'll be back here tomorrow about the same time. And watch what Candace said today. Did I get? Yes, I did. Hey, Bashful. When am I going on the cruise? The end of this month, we're going to be on the boat on Halloween. But I'm not taking a costume because I don't want to pack one. Ash, I bought the same exact van except a different color. That's it. We test drove vehicles a whole day for me to buy the same van, and I think that's the day that probably Jim thought about divorce more than any other day in his life with me, because I ended up buying the same van. But my other one was black and fully loaded, and this one isn't. It's maroon, and it's not. It doesn't have as much stuff, but I don't care about that. So, yep, same van that I parked underneath the tree, and now it's got that crap on it that I have to go wash off. Exactly, Stadius. And I felt safe, and I had a whole ass wreck, and I felt safe, and I think that was in my head too. So, yeah. All right, y'all. I'm gonna go and feed my husband his soup. I appreciate y'all. See y'all here tomorrow. We need to also do a Whitaker stream, and I hope y'all will be here for that. Bye, y'all.